Welcome back, guys. We are, well, not welcome back, I guess. Welcome back after a week, not from break. We are here with another Stars Without Numbers session with our lovely Jimmy, being the Space Master, back in space again. And I think we're going to do this for this week and maybe one more, possibly, before we turn back.
We'll talk after a session.
Okay, yeah, depends how far we get, I guess, what Jimmy has planned. So, but yeah, we're back in space for our space D&D. Are there dungeons in space? Are there dragons in space?
Technically, there's whales in space.
Are there space dragons in this campaign?
You have not found any yet.
Alright. I think that's my new goal. Anyways, let's, back to, we have Josh playing Leon, Allison playing Maddie, Jimmy is our Space Master, Travis is playing Margie, and I am a character called Selfie. And let's dive into it. Yes? Yes.
Let's do some updates. Because I want to talk about how I am currently drinking a Central Waters Brewing Company beer that I picked up when I was in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Did you not get New Glarus?
Of course I got New Glarus.
Okay.
I just got some other things as well.
Oh, I wish you had let me know you were shopping around. I would have recommended Ale Asylum's Madtown Nut Brown, one of my...
Okay, I saw Ale Asylum there.
Next
Actually, Ari, the guy I was with, picked up several Ale Asylum, but I just varied it. We got a case of, or like a 12 variety pack of New Glarus, and I'll admit, we drank most of it camping last night.
Nice.
So for our viewers or our YouTube watchers, Kevin, if you ever upload this again,
Kevin.
Someday.
I just drove 2,303 miles from Colorado back home, camping along the way, and I got to meet our true DM, Travis, for a brief, after a 16-hour trip from South Dakota, across the whole state, across the southern edge of Minnesota, and then into Madison. Throw in dinner and stop at some kitschy places, but other than that.
Yeah, so. I'm not gonna lie, you're like, yeah, I should be in at 10 at 11:30. I'm like, I might just go to bed. I don't know if he's gonna show up, but we got
it was kind of like one of those, like, I can only concentrate or think about, like, the logistics of finishing this drive, so I was like, maybe Travis will just tell me when he's feeling like this is getting questionable, and luckily you texted me when I was just finally in downtown Madison, so it worked out.
Nice. Yep. Sorry, folks, I didn't get photographic evidence. I wish I would have. Didn't think of it. It was like 20 past midnight when we met up, so I was ready for a beer. And
I looked pretty greasy-haired. It had been 2 sweaty days in the South Dakota prairie, in the Badlands.
The Badlands.
But yep, confirmed Jimmy is a real person, and since Jimmy is photographed with Allison, by proxy, Allison is a real person. Still not sure about Kevin and Josh.
I actually don't know if
we're not real people.
It's okay, I'm from the future, I'm a real person.
He's actually the producer for Future Man Gaming.
So, but yeah, I bring it up to both brag about seeing Travis, but also to say that I have been away for the past week, so I have plenty planned out, or in terms of thought out, making sure that this sector is flushed out or whatever, but I have not. It's been as long for me as for you guys, so I'm prepared, but just letting you guys know. So if you have questions, it may take me a second to look something up in my notes from last week.
Yeah, no problem.
Sweet. Anyone else have any big updates that compare to mine? I don't think so. Okay.
Hey, come on! I saw the Brett Favre retirement ceremony this past weekend.
That's right.
I was watching the coverage on that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was definitely, you could tell it was getting to him when he walks out to a crowd of 67,000 cheering fans and gets like a 5-minute ovation. The breakup was a little rough, but I think he's back in the fold at this point, and it was a good time. So we sat in Lambo and drank beer and watched videos about Brett Favre. We could have done it at home, but not in Lambo.
There you go. You couldn't pay $10 per beer for the privilege of watching it live.
Exactly, right? They were expensive.
But Football games are the worst, man. Like in terms of like what they're gonna do to your pocketbook.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But yep, that's me. What's new
Anyone
with
else want to
everyone
pipe in?
else?
Yeah.
Allison, what's
Yeah.
new with you?
I guess I could say that I went on my first attempted run tonight, and I. It's bad. I can't run to save my life. Jesus.
Well, it's
I'm
not
better
an
at-
attempted run. You survived, so it is therefore a successful run.
Yeah, I'm much better at lifting weights than I am at running, I learned. So, yeah. I don't
So
want to
what-
ever do it again, but I'm going to do it again because I have to. You can't get better at something if you just stop.
Yeah, it's a learned skill, even though it seems like, well, it's just a faster version of walking. It's like, no, it's just like lifting weights. Like, you have to know how to kind of, like, do it the right form, and, like, there's understanding,
you should not
like,
suck
okay,
and be able to breathe when you're going really fast.
all right, but just like, kind of like, how fast do I want to go so that I can accomplish what I want to accomplish today? Or, like,
Yeah.
what am I doing here? Am I varying my speed? Am I trying hills versus flat land? So,
It's
keep working at it. It'll
But
get better.
I got cute running shoes, so it's okay. It'll all work out. Maybe they'll give me the power to run faster. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, just getting ready for Gen Con. That's really it. Gen
Sweet.
Con, Gen Con.
Nice.
What is
Kevin,
Gen Con?
why don't you give us something? Oh,
29th.
Gen Con. Is that the one that's in Indianapolis?
Indianapolis. Yes.
I just drove through there. I ate
The 29th
actually some
to the 2nd.
legit Indian food in Indianapolis of all places. It was good,
All right. Well, that's strange.
right?
But I mean,
Was-
hey, whatever
was-
works. I'm sure you can find that around here too. But that's it.
Nice.
Kevin,
give,
future
give us
boy.
a little. Yeah, give us a little something.
I'll talk a little bit. I'll go last because I have some YouTube stuff I want to talk about. So, Josh, do you have anything?
Not much really. I mean, besides someone apparently beat up a shark or something yesterday.
Oh,
But,
I was watching that in South
Beat up
Africa.
yeah, apparently some person on a surfboard got attacked, and the shark bit the cord off his surfboard, and he was apparently punching the shark or something.
It's on
Well, that's
video.
what they say you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Punch in the
Hit a-
face.
hit a
Yeah.
predator in the nose, and they won't try and feed on
The
you.
video was insane.
How to
see,
catch a predator.
You see this
That
guy
would
just
be
like
so different.
on his surfboard, and then these two shark fins just show up behind him, and him
Splash splash.
and his board get pulled underwater, and it's like, oh my god, he's dead.
If that.
But then you see him like swimming away later.
Yeah, he
It was
comes
pretty
out
crazy.
without a scratch.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Wow.
No thanks.
I've got to find
Only
that
in
video.
Australia.
South Africa.
Oh
Only in
man,
South Africa.
dude, we breed them strong in Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
right,
you don't
yeah.
escape.
You
the
know not
sharks
to
in
punch
Australia.
punch unless you're willing to lose a limb. You might win still. You might keep your life, but you got to make that gamble. But yeah, Kevin.
Oh, not a whole lot. I went back home. I was back home in California this weekend, and for a friend's wedding, old friend from high school, that I hadn't seen in a while, so it was kind of cool. Going to the wedding and
Nice.
just hang out with him for a little bit.
Getting all fancy?
Congrats, Andrew and Christina. You're married. Good job. And I don't know. I got back this morning, and now I'm back in Seattle. But I did get a notification from YouTube today, which was incorrect. I got a notification saying, "Congrats, your video has been watched over 100 times." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I looked in our little analytics department on our YouTube, and we have a lot of it has been watched over 100 times. So I'm not sure what that was for. But I want to give a shout out.
YouTube's not super fast.
I want to give a shout out for the most watched YouTube video on our YouTube was actually the Elysian Theta Codex Session 1 Part 1.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Right now it's sitting at just over almost 700 views. So good job, Jimmy.
Almost 700?
Almost 700, yeah.
Damn.
So,
Oh.
Good job, all of you.
alright. Maybe we
Damn.
should have been doing like space shit all along.
It was
Oh,
never
mate.
my plan to get famous.
But
I regret nothing.
my personal favorite video is sitting in, 12th place? Is Durian performs Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
So.
That was a classic, I thought. But yeah, so yeah, watch our stuff on
You know what was
YouTube, guys.
a classic? Me going up in court and
Oh, yeah.
drunk?
me arguing for the freedom of our party member, and oh wait, it's lost.
Oh wait, it didn't
Yeah.
record on Twitch.
Yeah, that would
Oh,
hurt.
that's right. God damn it.
You know what's
I
funny?
know, Jimmy, that's my favorite too.
Like that data is actually probably somewhere out there. Knowing how long data kind of perseveres in some form.
It
Floating
exists.
around
It
on
exists as a corrupted file on Twitch's servers. I just can't watch it or export it, so it's
God
there.
damn it.
It's there.
It's such a shame because I have to admit you did the best Phoenix Wright impersonation I've ever seen. Objection!
I will not stand for these accusations. Anyway, but we're in space, and you guys haven't gone to court yet, so.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, technically, we were in the courthouse
What?
when I was fighting to get the ship.
Oh yeah.
Government building.
Well, cool.
Whatever.
That's all I had. So cool. Please watch our YouTube, guys. And I need to get back on uploading that stuff. I've been slacking lately because work has been super busy and life's been super busy. But yeah, we'll have the rest of the sessions up. And yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching us. Jimmy, take it away.
Yeah, so, you guys are aboard a ship. You've just left Spike Space, arriving at your destination, and, well, actually, you've made a scan. It's the very first, it's the very last thing we did last session, and the very first thing you essentially have just done at the beginning of the session, which was to examine this system. You haven't actually, although there's not really a doubt that it was okay, but you haven't actually checked to see whether you are in fact, other than the visual readout, you haven't necessarily checked to see if you are actually arrived in the place that you want to be, but it's probably, seems to be okay. We kind of rushed through the last bits there, but you've scanned the system, and you're in the Thorkatla system, which is Sector 303. You have come there via spike jump from Melanthro in 504 from the Data space station, which you finally managed to get off of last session. You, in exchange for a package that you were supposed to deliver elsewhere, you were given some monetary reward and also a promise, essentially an offer to serve on a ship that was transporting cargo into a region that you guys have known to be unsettled, to say the least, though you'd have to do more digging right now to find out what's going on or what the other crew members know about the system.
Weren't we all kind of on the bridge at this point?
So yeah, well, I'm just recapping.
Sure.
You've met the crew, Tekla, who is the security officer, Virgil, who is a medic and steward. He's been, over the past 2 days, he's fixed your...
He did something to me.
I don't think your character even knows that.
I don't, but Allison knows.
He's a steward. Seems kind of green. This is clearly, in his first 10 or 20 rodeos. He hasn't been out and about a lot. He's the youngest member on the ship by far. And the captain, Captain Christos Benitez is what you know him. And you haven't seen much of him under non-business conditions on the ship, so no one's really talked with him. Yeah, so you're transporting cargo, and you are arriving in Thorkatla, and upon arriving, you made a scan and identified in the system that there were... So, a brief description, because I think I brushed over it quickly last session. Thorkatla is a very bright, hot-burning blue star, and there's only one habitable planet that orbits it. There are several gas giants. In fact, there's tons of planets that orbit it, but most are uninhabitable. But Thorkatla's planet, Metanira, is the location where you know that supposedly humanitarian supplies are being sent from Data. The system itself is, like I said, a big blue star, but surrounding it in a bubble almost, because it orbits on all planes, so it's like a sphere around it. It looks hazy if you were to look at the visual display screen, but if you were to check the sensors, you would see that it's a combination of stellar debris, asteroids, and high energy, some sort of high energy output. That's probably a feature of the star itself, since it's so large and energetic. It's not a very friendly system for space travel. Nothing worse than like the say like traversing the Bermuda Triangle on a calm day. Right. Yeah, you've just arrived, and what are you guys doing?
Well, I imagine we're at our stations waiting for orders from the captain, since we...
Yeah, is everyone up there right now?
I mean,
Yes,
if we knew we were coming down, then yeah, we get there because he was going to tell us what we're going to do.
Yeah, so you get the... He doesn't call over, but there's an automatic notice that, like, leaving Spike trips.
Yeah, so I imagine Leon's probably at the helm, I'm probably at engineering. Selfie, Maddie?
I would have been there. I would have just joined everyone
Yeah, I'm not...
up on the bridge.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the bridge.
Great, yeah, so, the captain, says, Leon, hold it here for a moment.
Right, sir? And I like pull back on, I guess
Yeah,
it's
you down
toggle
throttle.
for
So
throttle.
remember, this is a very nice ship with a very nice Spike drive. Spike, it's Spike 3, which you guys have probably had a chance to check up on, which means it could make a 3-hex jump. It also cuts down the time that jump would take. So basically, it would be... So we did this wrong a little bit. It's 6 days per hex. You can jump straight there, so it'd be 12 days you can do in a single jump to get from 504 to 303. But the time's reduced by a factor of 3 as well. So or rather divided by 3. So 12 days divided by 3, it took 4 days for you to make the jump. That's just instead of the 2, I think we said. But I think the timeline fit. It doesn't really matter. So the captain announces on the ship, we've arrived, and I think it's time that we discuss our business about this system. We need everyone to be on the same page, and there's a lot going on that could make a misstep potentially dangerous. Am I clear?
Absolutely.
Yes, Captain?
Understood.
What do you know about our cargo and our delivery? What have you been told by our employer thus far?
I don't think we got a whole lot, did we?
Didn't we already talk to him about this? Like what we knew?
The only thing that we knew
Well-
is that we were getting, 10% of whatever the
You knew
profit
the
is?
cut. Yeah, you guys talked about the cut, but he's asking about the
I
details.
shake my head and I
So-
say we weren't very well filled in, Captain.
We were told that we were leaving for Thurkatla legally with foodstuffs, potentially to get to Dada. As far as we know, we're going to, drop off some cargo and pick up cargo and bring it back to Dada, I believe.
That's correct. And as far as everyone's here concerned, I don't usually have to say this, but that is exactly what we're delivering and what we're picking up. So let's not complicate it if we receive any unwelcome visitors.
Is there an insight check that I can do?
Yeah, I just straight up ask him, well, what does that mean? Cargo on, cargo off is fine, but what are we
Maybe
expecting?
We have a small bit of cargo that is going onto the actual planet where we have a business relationship. There are raw materials on the planet that are I have been charged to acquire and have acquired in the past. The materials are useful for more advanced products than are able to be created on this planet. The planet is backward. It's the people there are savages. They can't be trusted. It's a shame because they're incredibly numerous and the planet itself is a gold mine, but it is what it is. That
So
said,
if you don't mind me asking, Captain, if we're worried about danger, is it more likely to come from the savages or from other people trying to deal with them?
Well, Marjorie, it's going to be, or I guess he says, Miss Rainier, it's going to be both. Before we get to the planet itself, the system is as you can see, and he gestures to the display scene, it's a hotbed for piracy, which has been notably stepped up in the past, I'd say, couple months. No one knows really why, and it's kind of unclear. I question the logic of sending more ships into the region rather than fewer, but I don't question the counselors of the Emperor's Corp.
Question.
Margie frowns. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
So, if I wanted to figure out why he called it a Thorkatla gold mine, a potential gold mine, but it's covered with savages, so to speak, can I roll for that? Can I?
Yeah, tell me what you want to roll.
Do like maybe a history check to see if I know anything about the history of this area and why it would be a gold mine. But
so history is more general. Usually, it's information about specific worlds is culture world. You don't have culture world for this particular planet. You could roll an uninformed roll and sort of
Does
infer
she have
that.
culture spacer or culture criminal?
Culture spacer, culture criminal would not be. It probably wouldn't be actually relevant right now. I would let you try and roll it at a higher difficulty. At a higher difficulty to understand why the planet might be a gold mine, to see if she knows anything about illegal dealings. But you're not trained in criminal. You're not trained in spacer. You can try any of those rolls, and I'll tell you what you're testing, if you will.
Okay, so it's. This one's
it's kind of even. It's going to be you're going to be at a -1 regardless. So.
Gesundheit. This is is this the 2d6 one? I'm sorry, I always forget for some reason.
2d6.
So it'll be a 2d6 -1. What are you rolling? Tell me what.
I'm going to do this.
Spacer's knowledge of like space going. You've encountered people.
Yeah, we'll do spacer.
Bounce around a lot. Spacer, okay. Yeah, so you don't know anything about this planet at all.
All right, I tried.
It's kind of off the map. You kind of stick to, I would think, more
civilized places.
You've heard about it. You would imagine that there's something going on there because a lot of people live there apparently, and apparently it's of interest. But other than that, you don't. I mean, you can infer what you want from his words.
Okay.
So, what are we picking up, Captain? In general, is it chemicals that we got to worry about? Unstable material?
He smiles a moment and says, "You folks will be picking up dirt."
Ore is fine. Whatever we have to haul. I just want to know if it's inert or if there are special precautions we need to take.
The easiest thing we have to do here will be the cargo. The hardest thing, and allow me to lay it out a moment. There's piracy, which has been stepped up, and there's blood in the water. The sharks are out. There are a lot of other ships in system. And he actually pulls up a display really quick. He says, our scan showed us that there are a number of ships. And you actually see a listing of all the ships that are publicly broadcasting their signal, basically saying, I'm here. And you see a list of... What's up?
We lost Josh.
Oh, we lost Josh.
Oh, no.
He says they're not acting up, so let's
Australia blew up.
let's see if he can tap
Kangaroos.
back in. Attack of the kangaroos.
Yeah, I'll tell Josh this. It's not super important, but he says you see a list of there are Data flag ships that are ostensibly the humanitarian aid vessels. There's a lot of ships listed. There's several Riemann vessels. You see some actually from Manisha that are coded for the Manisha airspace. Josh, you with us?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay.
Yay.
Cool. So I was just saying that you were looking at through a computer, like a scan check, a number of ships that are publicly broadcasting their sort of signal have popped up on the display. It's just a data listing, relative distance, or kind of like not distance, but distance from the star. So there could be some in closer or further orbit. It's a pretty big system, so But you see a lot of data-bound ships that are tagged as freighters or frigates, so probably delivering the humanitarian aid. You see ships from Rima, from Manisha as well. There are a couple unmarked ships that have data fields missing essentially in their readout. But he points to those, and the captain says, "These we are have questions about, but it's not too much of a concern. We caught them, so to speak, and our ship is fast. We can outmaneuver them. It's what we don't find on our way to the planet that I'm concerned about, especially going through this." And he pulls up a display that lays out kind of the sort of readings that give you the lay of the land in that cloud that you have to pass through to get into the system further to get to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, this will take some careful maneuvering. There's both physical impediments as well as high energy bursts that are possible. We'll need to proceed cautiously. I can't say what will happen between here and the planet, but that is one of the dangers.
High energy bursts, like natural stuff, or like ship shooting
when you're close to a sun of this size and instability, there are, perhaps you're not used to it, there are cosmic explosions, or not quite sure the word in
Starburst.
commenting, but
sun
yes, flares, ultraviolet X-ray emissions on a par that would mar the delicate human genetic structure that we
reverse
have.
tachyon fields, I think.
No, only positive tachyon fields have been detected in this system.
Oh, okay.
So I nod and I say, well, I'll keep up active scans then, shouldn't I? Try and keep a lookout.
Here's what I know, what I can do for you, since I have not made this particular run before, with respect to... we lost Josh again.
Damn it.
Damn it, Josh.
He's had such internet troubles, I feel bad. Josh. He is not online at the moment. There he is.
No. Is he?
Well, now he
he
popped.
dropped for me.
Our overlay is all screwed up now.
Oh no,
Am I someone else? Am I the Space Master?
No, I think Jimmy's just two people right now. Everyone else is fine.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jimmy's two people.
You're
Leon.
Leon.
I am Leon.
Damn it, I wanted to be the Space Master. But the Space Master is me. Because you're in
God.
my
I find
spot.
that works better since I just pulled the modem.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh.
Mute. Josh,
Yo.
Say words.
Oh,
For a
blah
minute.
blah 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 blah
Whoa.
blah.
He's good. We're good.
There
We're
he
good.
is.
That's one way to do
We're
it.
good.
okay, so can you hear me, Josh?
Yep.
Okay, so the captain says that's what we know about the system itself. Now, what we know, or what I know, about the planet itself is sparing. You'll have to ask me. It's primitive, as I said, and you'll be about your own wits. The plan is to send down a team. He looks at the four of you. You four will be accompanied by Tekla, who will provide security and ensure that the cargo arrives and the proper exchange is met. I can't tell you much more because it will be the factor I have on the planet, or I've been told is on the planet, a man named Oleg.
Oleg.
Don't know him, but I have his signal indicated on the map. And he says, Miss Rainier, will you please pull up the following landing coordinates? And so he gives you some coordinates. Okay, and everyone can go once I open it.
Beep boop beep.
Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so if you go into your notebooks, it's under Planetary Geology, the folder. It's called Map of Metanira Landing Site.
Oh, look at this. That's fancy.
All
He
right.
pulls up. You guys you get this. It pops out of the center display, and there's this 3D and colored rendering of the landing site of the plane. He says, "This is where we've received a return signal prior to our departure that apparently we should be meeting. It seems dicey to me, but apparently the locals stay off of this." He points to where the landing site is. This higher plateau that is above the tree line, but the planet itself is largely jungle. We believe, and he points to where the red X is, we believe that the drop-off point is this location. About, he sort of calculates it, 500 or 600 kilometers, perhaps. Maybe less. It depends on how rough the terrain is and the direction you are forced to take. I will rely on Oleg to brief you on further matters.
Are we
Now-
gonna get a communique from him before or when we touch down?
When we make it through the cloud, we will send him the appropriate encrypted signal to know that we are on the way, and that the cargo has not been compromised.
Aye, Captain. Understood. And I just start punching in all the stuff.
Yeah, he goes, are there any questions? We have a computer database that can provide you perhaps some more information about the planet, but you come with a recommendation I cannot refuse. I do not like that my cargo space is being occupied, and he looks at you, Miss Rainier. And I do not like working with a crew where the majority is people I have not worked with before, but show yourselves worthy in this, and my opinion will improve.
I have all but one question. You've hinted that it could be
Mr.
piracy.
Lyston, yes.
Well, you've hinted that it could be piracy and stuff, but are there any creatures or beasts on the planet that we should be worried about on our journey to the meeting
Giant
point?
sewer rats.
You can consult the database. I have not encountered anything myself on my only other visit to the planet. I've been in the system many times, but there's, until recently, little to lend itself to the planet. One would assume that there are a wealth of flora and fauna on a planet that could also support over 1 billion human lives.
Very well.
Any other questions? And actually, like, there's a long pause, and sort of like Virgil in the back raises his hands, like, "Yes, Captain. Forgive me, but are there any preparations we should make with the cargo to secure it?" And the captain pauses a moment and says, "I will attend this myself. Virgil, come. We'll consult. If there's no other business, we will begin departure now. It will take us approximately 16 hours to reach the planet's surface. Probably longer, though. It's about 6 hours from now that we'll approach the debris and energy cloud." And he just...
I nod. I punch in all the stuff and start bringing up displays for Leon, calculating out trajectory and
What do
whatnot.
you guys want to do? Got the deets. What's next? No, you're muted.
You're muted.
Totally.
Is there a window? Can I see out it if there is
Yeah.
one?
You can.
Okay.
It's not a window per se, but it is a virtualized window essentially. The whole.
Okay.
It's really nice actually. It's almost 180-degree display where the front of the cockpit, the captain's deck basically becomes a display. You're pretty far in terms of physical distance if you're just getting a physical readout, but you do see the star, and the star looks bright. It kind of looks like a bubble where the inner part of the star, presumably what the actual sun is hot, but around it seems to be bigger than that and glowing, but ostensibly that's the cloud, right? You're just too far away to kind of like differentiate it.
Okay. I would just observe out the windows, so to speak.
Yeah.
Take it all in. I've never
been
been
told-
here.
You've been told about the database about the planet. You've been told about the list of ships listed in the sector. I think that's, and you've got the mission. So
Yes. Dirt.
The goods. I want the goods.
Dirt.
Yeah,
Well,
I unless
Beginning our approach to the planet.
Yep, I was gonna say unless anyone has anything,
Nope.
we plot a course.
Cool. Yeah, the course is plot. Tekla stays on the bridge with you guys, and you make your way.
Yeah.
So it's getting close to the cloud itself now. 6 hours has passed unimpeded. You've had no hails. I assume you've attempted no hails to other ships or anything weird like that. No.
No.
Yeah, so the captain rejoins about this time. He must have a computer display in his cabin or something to know. Because he
He's
appears
creeping
right
on
at
us.
the time where there's a ship caution message comes up, and there's a yellow blinking light, and it says, like, there's an automated message. It's like, warning, warning, use caution, unstable energies, warning.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of like, there's some things tipping the sensors, so.
Well,
Any
I
mix-
do a scan then. I mean, like, get a better idea.
What kind of scan are you doing?
A scan with the computer. I mean,
What are you looking
All
for?
of them.
I don't know.
That's why we're scanning, right?
Yeah, like exactly.
So you could scan. Are you scanning for pirate ships that have been hidden? Are you scanning to identify perhaps the easiest navigable passage through the cloud? Are
Well,
you
I've been like doing that the whole time, right? Because we're
So
kind of plotting a course
it's,
as we're going.
it's shifting. It's something that you won't really know until you get closer because it distorts your sensors to be far away to know like
Okay.
where the clear like. It's like looking at a canyon, but there's a dust storm in front of you. You can't really see the
Sure.
path in front. So you're closer. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm scanning for things that are,
He's doing all the above.
I'm doing a general scan.
got it. Okay. So roll your 2d6 plus your computer skill.
Sure. Intelligence based?
Yes.
Boom. 8. What do I see?
An 8. Yes. So you there's a display that comes up. You see that up ahead, the direction you're piloting, there is a large amount of small particulate matter, but there doesn't seem to be any trajectories of larger things that the ship would have to do any extensive maneuvering over. You do detect further on some anomalies that's what you get. You get the term anomaly and an odd signature that the computer doesn't understand or know what to do with. And it's unclear the distance. You know that it's maybe another 2 hours in front of you.
Okay. Does there appear to be like an energy signature? Is it just a big dead mass, like a broken satellite?
You were basically testing for energy signatures, and kind of like if there are areas without energy signature, it might be, say, something inert, right? Like an asteroid, a lesser energy signature. So you got a readout of that, and you got a clear picture that essentially there's not some high burst sun cosmic ray coming at you right now that's going to fry the ship's shield or anything like that. It's but
do we have shields?
No, I'm just. But you got some anomalies. What do you want to do? There's anomalies. That's what they tell you. There's several anomalies. Kind of like you get the Windows error. Like there were some errors in your process. Like,
all right. I mean, I guess I try. I continue to try to get more information out of that.
sure. I mean, do you want to ask anybody else about it? Do you want to consult the captain, perhaps?
Is he here?
It would just because right now it would just be re-rolling the same roll. It'd be just kind of like re-rolling the same scan right now, which.
So like an 8 isn't enough for a success? I guess I'm not sure what you mean.
No, there was success. You were successful to an extent.
Okay, well, I mean, then at that, like, that's all I get, right? So.
For what you did right now, that's all you get. Yes.
Okay, so I guess unless something changes, that's the information we have. So.
Cool. Do you pass it along?
I just tell everyone who's on the bridge. Hey, we have some anomalies. the computers detected. Haven't got any other info though, so stay frosty.
Okay.
Aye,
Boys. Going in.
So yeah, you guys pilot forward. The captain steps forward and says, "Good work on the scan. It looks like the course you plotted has brought us into a relatively calm sector of this cloud."
Yeah, well, let's hope it stays that way, alright?
that would be
But
preferred.
wouldn't worry. Anomalies pop up often in this type of environment. We should proceed cautiously. Leon, will you make a piloting skill, some sort of skill check? There actually isn't a pilot skill, so let me.
Vehicle space.
Yeah, do you have that skill? I know you're
Yes.
the pilot. Yeah. Give me your vehicle space check, please. And Margie, you can interpret results from your scan if you'd like to help.
Would I be using what? Wisdom or something? Because I'm trying to use my perception power or.
This is wisdom based, not intelligence based. But Margie can help with the data she has about here's higher flows of energy, here's lower, and if you keep on this vector and then change vectors here. So go ahead and
that
make
gives them like an extra +1, right?
It would give them a +1. So I think it would be another computer check with intelligence or with
Whoa.
or
Do you all hear that?
no.
Sorry.
No.
No.
Just me then.
You could do something else too. You could do I guess navigation actually. So that might help is to sort of you understand what your computer told you so you can give navigation advice to Leon.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Sweet. Yeah, so you explain the results, then you get a +1, Leon.
Crushed.
Boom.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Wow.
None.
All right.
Super
I
dry.
do a few unnecessary barrels for cool effect.
No, so it's just like passing through normal space essentially. After about half an hour, the captain who's examining instruments on board, who's watching sort of certain radiation levels and incoming X-rays that could disrupt certain magnetic measurements that are computed, etc. He kind of like notices that it's very common, looks and gives an approving nod at you, Leon. Do you say anything or do anything, or you just continue piloting?
That was weird.
I just keep focusing on piloting.
By the way, vehicle space, you would be at a 0 just for the future. It didn't matter, obviously, this time, but it's...
I had a +1 wisdom bonus. You said it was a wisdom check.
Oh, yes, it is a wisdom check. Well done. So, yeah, you got a really good description. I didn't see that your wisdom roll was there. And yeah, you're like a boss. You're just like one-handing this thing, like... and you make good time.
Cool. So, do we get through, set down?
Yeah, so there are... why don't you roll me... roll me a 1d4, Leon, because you're piloting.
Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know
So-
if that's good or bad.
So it would have taken longer, so the time to intersect her unimpeded would have taken whatever 48 divided by 3, 16 hours. It was 6 hours to get here. But it would have taken a considerable amount of time to get through this. Basically, it takes 4 hours longer rather than something more. Because in order to avoid everything in the cloud, you're taking non-efficient routes to basically zero in on the star, which costs energy because you're fighting the gravity of the star, etc., etc. So that's all that is. So you've got some time to kill, guys. You're going through the cloud. It gets bumpy every once in a while. Every once in a while, there's like a hazard warning, but it turns off really quickly because it's going good. What's everyone else doing? Maddie, Selfie. I mean, you guys are just doing heals right now. So,
Like,
do you want to do anything?
from when we met on the bridge to like where we're supposed to be landing, what is our assumed time between those?
So the time unimpeded from the edge of the sector out of spike drive space to the planet would be 16 hours. You guys
Oh, okay.
You guys flew 6 hours. You're at the cloud that kind of surrounds the planet.
Yeah, sure.
If you were unimpeded, it would be another 10 hours in. If you proceeded like you were unimpeded, you'd probably meet with something that would delay you a long time, if not indefinitely, right? Like you get hit by some...
We get blown up.
Disables your engines or, whatever.
Forever
Some
delayed.
kid flies a kite into the turbine.
There's going to be another 4 hours. 4 hours, then some hours more. It's probably going to be more than 10, but not too much more.
Okay, I guess getting a little bit of rest if I need anything, or just topping up on rest, and then I don't know, go over my equipment, make sure it's in working order before we go down, and then every few hours I'll just check into the bridge, be like, what's going on? I don't know.
I would
I'm not doing
sleep
anything
and
specific.
clean my weapons.
Yeah, so Tekla pays you a visit when you're cleaning your weapons again, Selfie.
Oh, I was
Okay.
cleaning my weapons.
I
Maddie.
said I was too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
both you.
go over my
I do
equipment.
that.
She
Right,
stops
right.
in right when he's polishing his gun.
Gonna polish
Um,
that pistol.
Where are you polishing your weapons? Have you pulled them onto the bridge or in your cabin? Where?
In
He's
the,
pointing them at himself while he cleans.
Yeah, check, eyeballing the barrel, like, hey, is it clear? Probably, I mean, is there a common area, like the mess hall or something?
Yeah, there's a mess hall.
Yeah, sure, I'll spread some stuff out there. And I guess if I figured Manny was doing the same thing, I would have offered, I would have said, hey, just in the mess hall if you want to join.
Great, so you both are in the mess hall then. Yeah, Tekla comes in and she's actually got a bag slung over her shoulder too. She sort of throws it down and it's like breaks out things and starts like filing away at something. And after a minute, she looks up and says, "I see the waiting has gotten to you guys as well."
Yes? Yes.
Do
Well,
you,
just being prepared.
do you like to wait? I hate it.
If there's stuff
I need to be out doing something. This uncertainty about whether we're going to be blasted by some anomaly out of the sky by the stars. Not my favorite part of space travel, shall we say.
Nothing much I can do on that bridge right now, so I figure I put some good use into what I can do after that.
It shouldn't be necessary. I'll have you well in hand on the planet, but it'll be good to know that there are other strong arms available. And she sort of nods at you too, Maddie.
I nod back, knowing that she's kind of flirting with Selfie.
Yeah, she
I
smiles.
just mind my own business, like,
She's a little quirk
hey,
and turns back to Selfie and says,
you do you.
"You never did tell me where you were from or how you got here."
Did I not? I thought I talked about that. Oh, that was to Margie last week, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I from? Manisha. Well, I kind of grew up on Manisha, but not really. We left when I was young, and I just floated around space most of my life.
Why would your parents have you do that? Oh, you were part of the purges.
Yeah, we all got kicked out. My parents and myself.
And you never made it to the other planet in the system, Niharika.
Yeah, we didn't. I'm not sure. I was a little too young at that point. I don't know if that was the goal or not, but we never did.
Where are your parents now?
They died when I was a teenager on one of the ships we were hopping around.
You've been alone since then.
I've been alone, but no family. No blood family.
And who do you consider your stand-in family then?
We had a group that I thought was my family. Didn't turn out so well.
A group.
Didn't end out. End out? Didn't end up. But I
End
guess-
up, mercenary group.
Yeah. That's what we kind of floated around the ships with. I played Merc. Kind of after what I assumed my father was. I'm not sure what Mom did, really, but she was on the ship. And after that, I fell in with the same crowd and kept going.
She like breaks out a very large barrel of something, and then sort of just like eyes it down and like checks it, and then begins actually pulling a computer, doing some sensor readings. And she's like, you know that on one side it's a mercenary, on the other side it's a pirate. Would you agree about that?
I've been a part of some lesser savory jobs.
We all have who've been out here a long time, haven't we?
We do need to do to keep the ship running and food on the table.
Is that all that drives you,
So drove the ship.
Mr. Middleton?
I don't know what drives me. I
You
like
know
to
what
avoid.
drives-
I like to avoid that stuff if I can help it. But
You know,
sometimes
you
we
may
need some
be the
creds.
first. You might be the first spacer who's ever said that they don't truly know what drives them.
I doubt that.
She just smiles and turns back to her cleaning for a bit. Yeah. So, you continue. Do you say anything else to her, or are you guys just sort of continuing in silence?
I'll ask her where she's from. What's she doing here?
She nods and said, here and there, I actually can say that I was born at space, so have no real home, but my family has ties back to Data subsystem, as well as some contingent on Rima as well.
Maddie's from you're from Dada's, right?
I am.
She's just cleaning. She's
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm trying to let you two do your thing. I'm like trying not to get involved. Just like keep the conversation between you two. I just, perk up, say I am, yes, and go back to cleaning my weapon.
Okay. Okay. And well, how'd you get here?
That's a bit of a longer story, but one that I would say that brings me here at the end of it, and a successful end of it.
Wait, say that again?
She basically says, like, it's a longer story, but how I got here is, suffice to say that this is the happy ending of it. On a ship like this, working for a
Okay.
good crew.
Okay.
It's a dangerous sector out there, and I've seen my fair share of it.
Most people
You know
have
what's
who
in-
spent most of their life at space.
You know what's interesting too? She sort of sets it down and actually leans towards you, arms crossing the table like this. And she's like, and she revs her engines. Like, no, she leans
Just
in,
growls.
looks you in the eye, and says, sometimes I think that the most dangerous parts I've been to have been on the places that people think are the nicest. The wealthy districts of the Data Station, in the capital of Rima. Those are some of the most savage, don't you think?
The civilized places. Air quotes.
Things are more ordered. She leans away and goes back to her gun. Things are more ordered on planets that are somehow lost our technological level. They They might not make sense to us, but they do make sense on a very more limited scale, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
For questions. The need to eat, the need to find shelter, to survive the elements. These are the basic needs, and they found a way, and perhaps even find some leisure time in there. I envy that sometimes.
A simpler life.
One where people like me or you are not needed.
Mm.
Or perhaps I'm mistaken. Perhaps you're not someone who feels the same.
The same as wanting to be on a simpler planet, simpler life. I can see the allure, but I think no matter where you go, they're gonna need people like you or I.
Dangerous people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I keep going.
It's been a lifelong job, or not lifelong, age long job.
She just nods and looks and says, like packs up and says, "That's all for me. I'm ready. I'd encourage you all to think ahead to our trip and to be ready, Miss Kingston."
I'm absolutely ready for all this. Don't you worry. I wink
Mr.
at her.
Middle. She just smiles and then nods at Mr. Middleton. And says to, like, back to Maddie, and it's like, well, I think I'd better go get some shut-eye. Or at least lay down in my cabin for a couple hours. And she saunters out with a bag of ammo and weapons slung over her shoulder.
Badass.
I imagine Jimmy actually has this woman sauntering off with a bag of ammo, and it's really hilarious.
Why don't we break there, actually?
Yes, beer
Okay.
time.
Take a break, guys. We'll be back in 5-7 minutes, and stay tuned for our landing expedition.